Hello everybody, welcome to more Political Excess. Today, let's do another deep dive into an upcoming U.S. Senate election. This time, let's take a look at Missouri. It's probably not going to be too close of a race, but let's get on Ballotpedia anyway and get a little bit of background. So this is an open seat as incumbent Republican Roy Blunt has decided to retire. 6 years ago, when Blunt won re-election, he won by around a narrow 3-point margin. So the Republicans are looking to hold on to this seat, and their nominee is Eric Schmitt. He is the current Attorney General of Missouri, and he previously served as the Treasurer of Missouri. His opponent on the Democratic side is Trudy Busch Valentine, and she is the daughter of beer giant August Busch Jr. So let's talk about their primaries. Well, Trudy Busch Valentine actually did have a competitive primary. She won by close to a 5-point margin, 43.2% to 38.4%. And my understanding is she was viewed as more of the moderate candidate. On the Republican side, Eric Schmitt also had a semi-competitive primary. He won with over 45% of the vote, over Vicky Hartzler, who had 22%. That was a high-profile primary with several big names running for that nomination. And if you'd like to compare raw vote totals from the primary, the Democrats had 367,000, while the Republicans had over 655,000. I don't think primary vote totals matter all that much, but if you do care about them, Republicans had quite a bit of an edge there. And there will also be a Constitution Party and Libertarian Party candidate on the ballot as well. So let's move along and see how this race is rated. Well, all three of the rating sites, Cook Political Report, Inside Elections, and Larry Sabato, they all have it at safe or solid Republican. My own rating is safe Republican. I think this will be a little bit over a 10-point margin for Eric Schmitt. Missouri is mostly a red state. It wasn't super long ago that it was a swing state or a blue state, but it has become one of the redder states out there, but it still doesn't mean Eric Schmitt is going to win by 20 points. It should be maybe 11 to 12 points. Now let's go down farther and take a look at the county voting trends on a presidential level. And this shows us that 64.2% of the population lives in 111 counties that are solid Republican. And that is defined on Ballotpedia as having voted for the Republican for president in the last 3 consecutive presidential elections. On the other end, 35.8% of the population lives in just 4 counties that are solid Democratic, and those, of course, voted for Barack Obama, then Hillary Clinton, and then Joe Biden last time. So we can go down here and take a look at the county map, and most of this does appear to be solid red, but keep in mind that the shading does not indicate margins, it just indicates that they voted for the Republican in the last 3 presidential elections. But that doesn't mean that a lot of these counties did not vote very heavily for Donald Trump last time. You can see a lot of these margins are easily over 60, 70, and some of them even over 80% that voted for Trump. Now, of course, the Democrats' strength is going to be in the blue urban areas. St. Louis, of course, they voted for Joe Biden over 82%, but the most populous county is St. Louis County, and that did vote for Joe Biden last time by 24 points. And if you look at the 2 previous elections, that is a shift toward the left. It's not overwhelming, but it is a shift. On the opposite side of the state, Jackson County is another blue county where Kansas City is located, and that appears to be more of a break-even kind of a scenario, and almost voted in 2020 the same as it did in 2012, about a 60 to 38 margin. So that county has not really lurched much to the left. And then the other blue county here is Boone, and that has trended a little bit toward the Democrats over the recent decade. Let's switch over to YouTube and see what they've got on their channels. Here's Eric Schmitt's channel. He has a few ads and he has some media appearances. There's not an overwhelming amount of content out here, and he might have some other content out there on his social media accounts, such as Twitter. And if we look at Trudy Busch Valentine's channel, she does have some ads on here. Some of these go far enough back to when she was in her primary. I'm sure she'll put out at least another ad before Election Day, but there's not a lot on here. If you're interested in their official campaign websites, you can take a look at those if you'd like. Here is Eric Schmitt's. If you want to read about his issues or buy some of his merch, you can do that here. And here is Trudy Busch Valentine's. You could read about where she stands on the issues, donate to her, take a look at any of her events. So how about any debates? Well, last month there already was a debate forum, and Eric Schmitt declined to show up. You can read about that here. He does give some sort of an explanation. There was an attempt to do a different kind of a forum. You never really know who to believe in these situations. But Eric Schmitt should be debating. There's no question about that. I don't care if he's favored to win. He should get on that stage. So there might not actually be a debate. This could be it. But that takes us over to Wikipedia so we can take a look at their endorsements. So you can take a look at them here. Eric Schmitt, he's got a bunch of them. Trudy Busch Valentine, she also has a bunch herself. And then let's get down to the polling here. And in the aggregate, on Real Clear Politics, Eric Schmitt, he's up 11%, 49 to 38. 538, he's up a half point more. And then if we go down and look at the individual polls, there's not as many as you might like to see because it's not expected to be super competitive. But in the most recent Emerson College poll from the end of September, Eric Schmitt is up 49 to 38. That's basically in line with these other polls that are a little bit older. I think Eric Schmitt winning by just over 10 is probably a reasonable expectation. Let's compare these poll results to how they fared in 2016. In that race, Roy Blunt, he won by just under 3 points over Jason Kander. It was about a 49 to a little over 46% margin. These SurveyMonkey polls show Jason Kander actually almost with a substantial lead. The Emerson College poll was also inaccurate. That showed Jason Kander with a 1-point lead. The poll from Public Policy Polling, that seemed to be close, 46 to 44. So these polls seem to at least underestimate Roy Blunt by a couple of points. And in a close race like this was, that does matter. But finally, we can get on Predicted to take a look at the market there. And that shows the Republican, which is Eric Schmitt. He's at 97 cents. The Democratic Party, Trudy Busch Valentine, is way down at only 3 cents. This is slightly even more lopsided than I would have expected, but it does indicate the Republicans are going to hold this seat in near certainty. So the conclusion is Missouri has become just too red of a state for the Democrats to seriously compete in these days. They do occasionally run a moderate candidate, such as Jason Kander last time. He would have done great in the 90s and even in the early 2000s. But the state has kind of passed Missouri Democrats by. I think on some economic stuff, of course, they would be fine siding with the Democrats. But with the social and cultural issues, I think those are just too far to the left. And there's just way too many deep red counties for that kind of politics to actually play in Missouri. And whoever the Democrat is that's running, they're going to be associated with those kinds of policies. Just as it would be on the other side for a Republican doing the same in a blue state. They're going to be connected too much to the social and cultural excesses of their particular party. So let me know what you think of this race in the comments. What do you think the margin will be here for Eric Schmitt? Could it possibly get down under 10 points? Let me know down below. And if you enjoy this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.